This video was created during the 2023 WGA and SAG strikes. Without the labor of the writers and actors currently on strike, Ahsoka wouldn't exist. Learn more about the strike at the link in the description. Morgan Elsbeth revealed that she is a Nightsister of Dathomir in the premiere episode of the Ahsoka series. There was some prior evidence that was a possibility, but I've been really hoping it would be true ever since we saw her using what appeared to be magic with the green flames in one of the trailers. If you don't know anything about the Witches of Dathomir, today I'll explain everything you need to know. As their name suggests, the Nightsisters were from the planet Dathomir, which was known to be strong in the dark side of the Force. Clans of witches learned to harness the Force through magic. Singing Mountain, Howling Crag, and Blue Coral Divers were all different clans, but the Nightsisters were the most prominent. They wore red robes and cast spells that manifested in the form of green fire. Throughout the Clone Wars, they were led by a matriarch called Mother Talzin. She was actually the biological mother of Darth Maul, who was taken as the apprentice of Darth Sidious as a young boy. The Nightsisters ruled over the males of their planet like Maul, and they were referred to as Night Brothers. While magic was how the witches most often used the Force, they could learn to wield it more classically in the style of the Jedi or Sith. Asajj Ventress was only a baby when she was taken from her family as a slave. A Jedi rescued her, recognized her talent in the Force, and trained her as a Padawan. But when he was also killed by pirates, she fell to the dark side seeking vengeance. Her power caught the eye of Count Dooku, who then trained her as his Sith apprentice. Then he betrayed her at the command of Darth Sidious. She survived and returned to Dathomir, and Mother Talzin helped Ventress attempt to assassinate Dooku. They failed, and Grievous was sent to massacre the Nightsisters. They fought back with their magic, raising their dead against the battle droids, but most of the witches were wiped out. After the Clone Wars, just like the Jedi, Nightsisters were a rare sight in the galaxy. There were a handful of survivors like Merrin in the Star Wars Jedi games or Deathstick in the comics, and now we have Morgan Elsbeth, who proclaims herself to be a survivor, which I think will be key to her character. The thing that was nagging me as fans started to speculate that she might be a witch was the question of why she would want to help Grand Admiral Thrawn and therefore the Empire. The Nightsisters seemed to be aware that the Empire was simply the continued reign of Darth Sidious, who ordered their near extinction. Merrin herself spent years seeking vengeance against them. Meanwhile, Elsbeth apparently spent that same amount of time setting up Imperial factories and working as an ally to one of the Empire's greatest military commanders up until his disappearance. I assume she allied herself with her enemies to survive. When Shin calls her a witch, it's almost like Elsbeth is correcting her when she claims to be a survivor, as if that's her identity first and foremost. She doesn't hold any loyalty to her culture. She probably won't hold any loyalty towards the mercenaries she employs either. On the flip side, I don't think Baylan and Shin are feeling all that loyal to her. I love that beat where Elsbeth orders Shin to go to Lothal, and she looks to Baylan to see if she actually should. And he agrees, but I think they'll probably work alongside her just as long as it benefits them. I could see some fallout between the bad guys. I really hope we continue to explore ancient Nightsister stuff. I always love seeing ruins, and the fact that the Nightsisters have their own on a planet called Arcana, that's so cool, and I love how the name is so on the nose. The Witches of Dathomir have been in plenty of canon material already, thanks to the Clone Wars and other stories I mentioned, but just like Grand Admiral Thrawn, they have their origins in Star Wars Legends, and I love that they're making their live-action debut now. They were first created for the novel The Courtship of Princess Leia, which saw Luke, Leia, and Han travel to Dathomir and encounter the Nightsisters who rode on Rancors, which is something that was referenced in the Book of Boba Fett. It's pretty neat that Dave Filoni seems to be taking inspiration from several legend stories that all took place during the fight against the Imperial Remnant. Fans have been assuming The Mandalorian and Ahsoka and all the surrounding series would be a loose adaptation of the original Thrawn trilogy, but I think we need to start opening that up to a loose adaptation of all of Legends around this time. Fingers crossed we continue to get a dash of X-Wing inspired stories, maybe following the Adelphi outpost. But I'm getting off topic. The Nightsisters are cool, and I'm loving that they're getting more and more attention in the Star Wars universe. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel for our continuing Ahsoka coverage, follow us on our socials, and consider checking out our Patreon page for video reactions and audio commentaries for every episode as they release. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.